Welcome back to SVSU Red Alert. I'm JJ Boehm, joined by SVSU men's golf coach Joe Vogel. And Joe, your guys coming off a very impressive tournament victory against the entire GLIAC.
Yeah, it's actually fun to be a Cardinal today with regard to our golf program. It was a very, very impressive win by our guys this last weekend.
I know you guys were leading after round one, and that's where it seemed like your guys shot exceptionally low scores, kind of as a team.
And you know what, the neat part about this team is that we've got a lot of depth, and that came out on our first round. When your number 3 man shoots 69, your number 4 man shoots 70, your number 5 man shoots 71, and then you've got to count your number 1 and number 2 man, and in this case, that first round, our number 1 man didn't count. It was Skidmore with his 76 that we had to count. So from a depth standpoint, that's an exciting place to be as far as a coach.
And then you carry it over into day 2 and are able to win by, I think, 7 strokes.
That's correct, yeah. And the strength there was Skidmore coming out. I mean, he had 76 first day, but he turns around, shoots 69. He wants to get into the red numbers just like the rest of the guys on the team. Adam Hansen, who's the team captain and a 5th-year senior, had a great tournament. He was not in the lineup the first 2 tournaments of the year. We put him in there, and you know, the kid shoots even par for the tournament. So, not, you know, and it's not to take away from what some of the other guys have been doing, but it just again kind of shows you the strength of where we're at right now in depth.
And what does that do for your team now going into some of these other big tournaments that you have coming up to be able to not just score well, but claim a victory?
Well, the victory certainly is nice, and that kind of stamps the level of play that we're at. And actually, for the last couple of years, we've been stressing that you have to be around par, and you've always got to have some guys under par. And what's happening now is that these guys all believe that they're that kind of player. They're a subpar player, and if they shoot a 73 or 74, they're not happy with themselves. And in part, maybe they realize too that we've got some other guys back home shooting 69s and 70s and that sort of thing in their qualifiers. When the rest of the team, when we're on the road, the rest of the team has to continue on playing what I call qualifiers back home. So we've got some pretty good guys in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th spot back home that can more than likely at some point step in if we have some issues.
What was the key for all of those low scores being put up by the SVSU players this past weekend?
I think it just gets right back to what I mentioned about getting a philosophy going within the program. And first, you've got to have good players. Second, you've got to have good players think that they're good players. And I think we may have turned the corner on that. Still maybe a little too soon in our season because it's a huge tournament coming up this next weekend with 33 teams, but then we get right back at everybody at the conference championship in 2 weeks. So again, it really boils back down to maybe a culture that we've got going right now, and it'll take a while really to figure that, to prove that itself. But
is momentum something you can carry over in golf, where this past victory now you can take into these next 2 big tournaments that you have coming up?
You would like to, however, golf is, we change venues, so now you got different greens, different lines on the course where to hit shots, pin locations, reading the greens, and then you've got the weather. So yeah, it's nice in one respect, but then in the other, you got to lay a little caution to everything with the fact that a lot of things change too. A lot of variables are always a moving thing with golf.
What do you look for from your team going into this big NCAA tournament coming up?
Well, I think probably the most important is that we get comfortable with having at least a good first round. I think the first round is going to be key, simply because we're playing a 36-hole venue. We'll get to play, or we'll have a practice round one day in which we'll only see one of the 2 courses. And hopefully the draw on it is that we play that first course right away so that we can get that good round under our belts. And then I don't want to say we'll be playing blind for the second round, but we will not have an opportunity to play a practice round on it. So it'll be could be a little more difficult. But again, there's where emotions and energy and all of the other things that go into believing you're a winner can override too.
Well, hopefully all of that comes together for your squad. Congratulations on the big victory this past weekend, and good luck coming up. I know you've got big tournaments the next 2 weekends as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That is SVSU men's golf coach Joe Vogel. When we come back, we'll be rejoined by SVSU football coach Jim Collins. That's next on SVSU Red Alert.